What is happening, Magnus sites? I find out about all these Easter eggs and stuff we don't know about. Let's check this out. Go over to the Cosmic Wonder and subscribe. Tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel.
Happening,
the final
man.
trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine came out, and it's a real treat. Stop it. We thought we had already got...
You never know. Spider-Man might be in it. You never know. And you don't know which one. You never know, man.
the final trailer, at least I did, but this seems to be the true one as it's titled, the final trailer, and wow, did it hit me
in the feels.
Right in the feels. All the emotions with this one. I'm actually really glad they came out with this more serious trailer because I had a video planned to talk about how serious Deadpool and Wolverine was actually going to be and how heartfelt it was actually going to be. And Kevin Feige, Ryan...
Yeah, after this trailer, you don't know what the tone's going to be. The tone's been like funny, ha-ha, silly, but you never know where they might take it.
Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Sean Levy, they all talked about this. And Kevin Feige just a few days ago in an interview with Deadline said that the film is incredibly emotional. And that is portrayed very, very well with this trailer. I think this is a great change of pace from what they have shown us so far. And I love how the trailer kind of opens up with Deadpool addressing the fact that he does use humor a lot. He turns everything into a joke. And I think this is also very meta at the same time because obviously Deadpool can break the fourth wall. And he kind of breaks the fourth wall as Ryan Reynolds himself as well. Like when he breaks the fourth wall, Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds seem to be the same character. But I love how he's just completely vulnerable in this moment. He says, I know I turn everything into a joke, but I care. Because through all the jokes, through all the sarcasm, he does care. He has a huge heart for what he calls his family. And he says that he wants to use that, the fact that he cares, for something important. Now, here's the thing. We already know what Deadpool is trying to do. Agent Paradox tells him that his world is going to die because they have lost their anchor. And this is a really big point of the movie and a really big point of the MCU moving forward. Each universe has its own anchor, and if that anchor dies, essentially the universe will die. Now, Deadpool's universe lost its anchor, which was Wolverine. It was actually Logan from 2017. So during the events of Logan, when Logan died, the anchor died, and the universe essentially began a path that would end in its own destruction. And as we've mentioned in a few videos, it is confirmed. This is all confirmed. It's confirmed by everybody who saw the first 35 minutes of the film, and I've spoken to many of those people at this point in time. So it's confirmed Logan comes from Deadpool's universe, so do the Fox X-Men. That is all the same universe. And then it's even more confirmed in this trailer when he says in his universe where he comes from, you are the X-Men. But I love this conversation here, and I love how Deadpool has to kind of force himself to say, oh, Wolverine was well regarded in his universe. He even rolls his eyes, sticks his tongue out. But again, he's dropping all of the BS. He's being real. He's being himself because he's trying to get Wolverine to help him save his family because he cares so much about those that he loves. He says, you were well regarded. You were an X-Men. F that. You were the X-Men. And it's kind of interesting because although, of course, I love all of the X-Men that we've seen over the years, in the movies, particularly very early on when we first started with X-Men 2000, Wolverine was really kind of the main focus. He was the one that appeared in the...
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, he's like the most popular X-Men ever, so... Makes sense. Even in the comics,
newer X-Men movies, and he, of course, got his own solo films. And they show all of these. We're getting some footage from the past, and it's very nostalgic, and this is what got me pretty emotional watching this trailer. It was just fantastic to see. And if you would have told me when I was 11 years old, the 11-year-old kid watching the X-Men film for the first time, that one day we would be here with Deadpool and Wolverine, with the Avengers, with Secret Wars, with everything, I really wouldn't have believed you. It's a great time to be alive right now. So Deadpool says, you were the Wolverine. He was a hero in my world. But of course, this is not that Wolverine. Again, the Wolverine from Deadpool's universe was Logan, who died in Logan. And as we know from Agent Paradox, this specific Wolverine variant let down his entire world, which is why, of course, he says, well, he's not in mine. He's not anything in my universe. And he's referring to himself here, of course. And to make things even more nostalgic and even more emotional, this Wolverine says, Scott used to beg me to wear this suit. Scott, of course, being Scott Summers, aka Cyclops. I do find it kind of funny, though, how he says Scott used to beg me to wear this suit, and we are seeing Giant Man, aka Scott Lang's corpse here. So he's talking about Scott Summers, but they do show a Scott Lang, well, at least a dead Scott Lang at the same time. Then he says, so did Storm.
Isn't that grim? That's so grim every time I think about it.
And Beast. Like, his family used to beg him to wear the suit. And this is actually an incredibly important part, because this is specifically why Deadpool chooses this variant of Wolverine. Because we know Deadpool is going to visit a lot of different variants of Wolverine until he stumbles across this one. And when he stumbles across this one in the bar, he actually sees that he wears his yellow suit, this classic yellow suit, under his actual clothes. That is why he chooses this particular Wolverine. This Wolverine wears the suit under his clothes because the family that he let down always begged him to wear them. They begged him to wear the suit, so now that his family is gone, he wears it all the time as kind of a respect for them. But of course it also kind of haunts him at the same time. But Deadpool sees this and he realizes, since he has that suit on underneath, he really does care. And that's what Deadpool needs right now. He needs somebody, he needs the Wolverine specifically, to care about his own cause, because he cares. And that's really what we're getting here in the beginning of this trailer. Deadpool pouring his heart out, stating that he cares, and he's begging Wolverine to care. And it is a big part of Wolverine's guilt, he says, but I couldn't have them thinking I wanted to be there. Meaning he had to be the tough guy, right? He didn't want to wear the suit because he didn't want them to think that, oh, he wanted to be a part of the team. He wanted to be an X-Men, even though, of course, he did, but he couldn't let down his walls. He couldn't put his guard down. And of course now he super regrets it now that they're gone. And to really top it all off, to make things even more emotional, Daphne Keane returns as X-23. And this was a really big reveal that they were waiting to do. Like, as soon as the trailer dropped this morning. And
I know a lot of people were like, a lot of people didn't like this. They felt that they spoiled too much with that. Doesn't bother me, you know what I'm saying? But I get why.
Entertainment Weekly released their article that's literally titled X-23 Returns. Daphne Keane talks Deadpool and Wolverine cameo and reuniting with Hugh Jackman. And I love how I've seen a ton of comments with people stating, oh,
And she looks good. I think that's the best I've seen her look. I didn't even know she was grown until we saw her in the Wokalite, the Wokashite. The Stankalite.
Right up there with Andrew Garfield now. Andrew Garfield lying about stating he's not coming back for Spider-Man No Way Home. He's not the werewolf. Daphne Keane did the same thing. And she said, I had to do a bunch of press for a job that I just finished, referring to her role as Jedi Jackie in The Acolyte. And she said, I got asked in every interview, and I just got to lie, which was really funny. And she did. She said so many times that she was not returning as Laura. But boom.
I never knew that. I never knew she said that.
Interview about her returning. And honestly, it is a really great way to get people just even more excited for this film. The great part is we've only seen in the trailers about 1/4 of the movie. The beginning of the movie. That's what everybody who has seen the beginning has said. Most of all of these scenes are from the beginning of the film. But we do have some very important scenes to break down that are new.
It's crazy that she's 19. I just remember being a little girl and her being a little girl, and it's like time passes too fast, man. It is just, trust me, it's gonna happen to y'all too. You're gonna be getting older and you're gonna see these kids, and then when you get older, they're gonna be people you knew and everything, and you're gonna see them, they're managing a grocery store, and you're like, wait a minute, and it feels like you saw them yesterday.
In this trailer, which of course we'll get to, but this scene with Laura here, with X-23 here, is incredibly emotional, specifically for Wolverine here, because it looks like they are visiting where Logan died, where kind of the best version of Wolverine died. So they go back to the universe where Laura was in, where Logan died, which is Deadpool's universe. And we've already seen from the other trailer that we thought was the final trailer that Deadpool and Wolverine do go back to Deadpool's universe. They arrive at the used car lot where Deadpool and Peter work. And we believe that this is the sling ring that they are jumping through in the trailer. We believe this is the portal. It leads them back
His
to
feet
Deadpool's
sticking out
universe.
like that. It's hilarious.
And since Deadpool's universe is where Logan died, I'm sure they go back to visit the scene where he died, and it looks like X-23, some way through whatever reason, meets them there. Perhaps there's news reporting that, Wolverine is back in their universe, maybe she sees that. But I'm guessing that Deadpool goes and he gets her because of everything that she went through with Logan, thinking that maybe she could convince this variant of Wolverine to care and that he is worth it, because that seems to be what this scene is. Because Wolverine here, drinking, looks to be somewhere around where Logan died, says, "Whoever you think I am, you got the wrong guy." And then, of course, they give us the big reveal, and Laura says, "You were always the wrong guy till you weren't." And I think this moment right here is going to be that big aha moment for Wolverine, where he realizes, yes, he let his old universe down, but he still can rise to this challenge. He can still save another universe. He can still save a family for Deadpool, and he could probably save the entire multiverse. I'm assuming a big multiversal threat is eventually going to be looming by the end of the movie.
Oh,
in fact,
that looks
I
like one.
We see kind of a multiversal threat here with Cassandra Nova, where she seemingly is working some type of multiverse device, which we'll talk about in just a minute.
That's bothering me.
With all the emotionality.
That right there is bothering me.
Reading a quick from the interview with Kevin Feige, where he talks about how emotional this movie really is.
Right in
when
the third
asked by
eye.
Deadline about Deadpool and Wolverine being a edgier era of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and if more edgier things are coming from Marvel, he said this: "I think we've been edgy in the past, but my favorite thing is that we span all types of genres and tones. I think it gets a lot of attention that this is our first R-rated movie, but it is the third R-rated Deadpool movie. So we wanted to stay true to what Ryan has built over the last couple of movies, and we weren't going to undo that. I will say, Hugh and Ryan have talked about this, and I think people can tell from the trailer and from the press tour so far, yes, it's rated R. Yes, there's some language and blood, but the film is incredibly emotional. I keep calling it the most wholesome R-rated film that anybody can ever see. It really is a celebration of friendship and family and of found family. I don't want to overdo it, but for all the R-rated raunchiness that gets attention, when people see this movie, it's going to be about how heartfelt it is. In my opinion, much more than the first two Deadpool films. That's what I'm really excited about. Once people get past the F words and the R rating, to see how sweet it is. I read that and I thought that, wow, that's actually going to be pretty amazing if they pull this off really well. And then after seeing this trailer right here, they have already totally pulled it off, even just with this trailer of how emotional it made me get. So I'm so excited for this. More excited than ever now after seeing this trailer and the emotionality of it all. Now, going past the emotionality for just a little bit, there are a few scenes that are really important that we have to talk about. One is the scene with Cassandra Nova, where she is working some type of device. I've heard some people say, oh, since she is kind of the twin sister of Professor Charles Xavier and he has Cerebro, this is a version of Cerebro that she has possibly built or found somewhere. But the biggest thing I want to point out about this scene is it does seem like...
It's like a whole bunch of threads. Like Loki would be holding or something.
She is altering reality or tampering with the fabric of the universe that she is in with this. Because if you look at this scene very carefully, you can tell that it actually kind of looks like some very familiar scenes from Loki.
Yeah, say Loki. Like when they, like even when, what's his name? Can't remember. Jonathan Majors just, kept, remember he kept running out and getting... turning into strings.
Loki. At the end of Loki season 2, we see his reality, his universe, disintegrate around him and essentially turn into these string-like things before they disappear. This also is how Victor Timely died. When he went out, he turned into essentially string and essentially disintegrated, much like the universe did. So this right here is a very important scene. I believe Cassandra Nova isn't just going to be some Deadpool villain, but I think she poses a real serious threat to the multiverse as a whole. And I think that's actually going to be another big redemption arc for this Wolverine who failed before. Not only is he going to save Deadpool's universe, but he's going to try and save the entire multiverse. The next scene that we have to talk about is the Lady Deadpool and the Deadpool core scene. Lady Deadpool is coming through a portal in the scene, but we see behind her are a ton of Deadpool variants and head.
So I assume that, okay, first off, I think I stopped really consistently reading comics before she was introduced. So I assume she's a variant. So if I'm wrong, let me know. And let me know what's up with her. But yeah, it looks like a whole army. Is that somebody throwing their head up? Throwing the head up in the air to her left?
Deadpool over to the left floating above them as well. Deadpool being just a dead floating skeleton of Deadpool. We knew the Deadpool Corps were going to be in the movie, but
Deadpool
look
Corps.
how many different variants there are. There are going to be a ton, and apparently some are going to be played by very famous actors. Or at least 2 of them is what we've heard so far. But that is way more Deadpool variants than I thought we were going to get. And I think this is the big portal scene that some insiders talked about for a while now, that this was going to have kind of a parody Avengers Endgame portal scene, where a lot of different variants of X-Men, Deadpool, etc. come out of a lot of different portals for a final fight. That seems to be what we are seeing here. And last but not least, the final scene is Deadpool and Wolverine in a car, and Deadpool is shooting Spider-Man webs, or pretending to shoot Spider-Man webs at least. And this really has me thinking about Tobey Maguire. X-Men 2000 and Spider-Man 2002 are really what kicked off everything, and Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman are viewed as icons for comic book movies. And we've heard that Tobey Maguire might be making an appearance in the movie. It's not confirmed yet. It could be in the post-credit scene, but it looks like here they could even be referencing him, because obviously what Deadpool is doing with the way his hands are shaped, he is shooting fake webs here. So we know this movie is going to be cameo-packed already. We already see how many Deadpool variants there are going to be. We have Daphne Keane returning as X-23. Big reveal of this trailer. And Wolverine even mentions Scott, Storm, and Beast. So it's going to be even more emotional when those variants from another universe who aren't dead show up and Wolverine gets to see them again. But this just makes me so excited about Deadpool and Wolverine. We have less than a week now. Super excited. Let me know how excited you are in the comments down below. Do you have your tickets? When are you seeing it? Let me know. And please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the latest Deadpool and Wolverine and MCU news. You can also find us on Apple Podcast.
All right, y'all. So, who's got the tickets? Do you? Do you think Spider-Man's going to show up? I think he is. 10 million subscribers. Woo!